This is the Kia EV6 GT. It's the top spec of the EV6 line, and I reviewed the GT line model of the EV6 last year. If you want to check out that review, just click the link up there. But more or less, these cars visually anyway look pretty much the same. So what's the difference between the GT line and the GT? Well, in a nutshell, the GT costs about $35,000 more and gets to 100 kilometers per hour, 1.7 seconds quicker. Well, there is just a little bit more to it than that, but outwardly the two cars do look very similar. One way to tell them apart, though, is from the 21-inch machined alloy wheels on the GT with fluoro green brake calipers. And at the back of the car is also a very small GT badge. So that little GT badge at the back of the car tells drivers around you that you have two electric motors in this car, which together output 430 kilowatts of power and a bone-crushing 740 newton meters of torque. 0 to 100 in the Kia EV6 GT is 3.7 seconds, which looks and feels a bit like this. My God! Wow. That is insane. It's almost like being on the Superman ride at Movie World. That's 0 to 100 in 2 seconds, but, you know, it's pretty close to that. But all that extra power does come at the expense of battery range, which, unfortunately, in the case of this car, is the lowest in the EV6 lineup at just 424 kilometers. And you can charge the battery to 80% at a high-speed charger in around 18 minutes. Inside, there's a few other small differences. You can go and design your own drive mode in addition to the GT mode, and select the severity of the acceleration, how the steering and braking and that kind of thing works. You can also put the car into drift mode, allowing all the power to go just to the rear wheels only. And if you have a convenient skid pan in your neighborhood, because who doesn't, you can go and get into some serious drifting action with this car. Not something that I necessarily would do myself, and nor do I really have the skills to do it, but there are plenty of people out there who can. Another small difference with this car compared to the GT line is with the seat heating and cooling controls, in that there are no seat cooling controls. There's only seat heating, because the seats are totally different in this car. It gets proper racing buckets, which are fantastic if you're going to the track. They hug you in really tightly, but stuck in peak hour traffic, they're not really the most comfortable things to be seated in for long periods of time. So I'm not loving these seats. Oh, and the other thing is too, there's no electric adjustment. It's manual only, which is a bit strange at a car at this price point. Another thing I noticed is there's a bit of piano black down here on the lower console, and this car has only done just over 4,000 kilometers, and already there's quite a few scratches on it, which breaks my heart. Another small difference with the GT is the steering wheel, and we get this extra little fluoro green GT button, which unleashes the full 740 newton meters of torque. But even in normal mode, with the bucket seats and the slightly more lively acceleration, this car does feel a bit more sporty than the EV6 GT line. And it's had a local suspension tune, which Kia certainly talks a lot about on their website. And it really does handle our less than perfect potholed roads around town very, very nicely. There is the option of fake augmented sound if you want to have that, you know, sort of like futuristic electric car noise while you're driving around. You can have that coming through the speakers inside the car. I've actually been driving around without that for the last week. I didn't even think to turn it on. And I tried it this afternoon just for a little bit, and I don't like it anymore. I actually like the quiet. It is a very quiet cabin, but for the outside world, there is a bit of external noise at low speeds, just so people know that you're nearby. It's been several months since I last drove an EV6, and still not an awful lot of them on the road. And its futuristic design, which I think looks really, really good, still attracts a lot of attention. This car's most direct competitor would probably be the Tesla Model Y Performance Pack. It is also all-wheel drive, has twin electric motors, but on a full charge, it goes a lot further, over 500 kilometers, and it costs about $15,000 less, and its 0 to 100 time is exactly the same as this, 3.7 seconds. That makes it, on paper anyway, a much more compelling option, especially when you incorporate its impressive interior tech with that giant screen that has full internet connectivity the whole time, Netflix, YouTube, all that kind of stuff, gaming. None of that is here in the Kia. But if you aren't a fan of Mr. Musk's cars, and I think arguably the EV6 is a much better looking car, then maybe this could be the four wheels and the seat you're looking for.